everybody, it's Emily at Schooling, and welcome back to another episode of Homeschool Tidbits. Welcome back to Build Your Library's Homeschool Tidbits. Today we're doing episode 48, and we're going to be talking about preparing to homeschool high school. In this weekly video series, I will delve briefly into a topic related to homeschooling, and I'll share some of my knowledge and expertise as a long-time homeschooling mother of 4 children. 3 of them have graduated high school, and 1 who is a college graduate. When you first start homeschooling, high school just seems like this impossible thing that you don't want to think about because it seems scary. It's almost a boogeyman. Your children are still little. And everything's hard enough right now as it is, without having to worry about things like transcripts and college applications, and will my child even be able to get into college? But then the years go by, and now suddenly those little children are tweens. They're 12, 13 years old, and suddenly high school's right around the corner. I've talked before about the benefits of homeschooling tweens and teens, and you can go check out that video if you want some inspiration. But for the sake of brevity, just know that the teen years, in my opinion, is the best time to homeschool. But maybe you're feeling anxious about it. After all, this is when it really starts to count, right? Their entire future hangs in the balance. But having graduated 3 of my 4 children, I'm here to tell you that it isn't any harder to homeschool in the teen years. And yes, they can absolutely get into college and even succeed there. Today, I'm going to share some tips and advice as I get ready to start planning out my youngest daughter's high school years. So you've decided to homeschool through high school. Now what? What do you want to be when you grow up? I've always hated that question. It's fun to ask a preschooler and see what funny answers they might come up with. Fireman, astronaut, veterinarian, literal cartoon characters. But that same question becomes much more anxiety-inducing when it's a teenager. Even so, knowing their interests can go a long way as you guide them to deciding what to do after high school. My youngest is currently 14, so we're embarking on our first year of homeschooling high school in the fall. And something we've been talking quite a lot about lately is, what does she think she might want to do in the future? Does she want to go to college? And if so, for what? What do you want to study? Start talking about the future now. They don't have to declare their major at 14, but knowing their strengths and their passions is a really good gauge in figuring out and helping them to decide what they want to do next. Is it college? Do they want to go to a trade school? Join the military? Just get a job? There's many options and none of them are wrong. And it's also totally okay if they don't know what they want to do. In fact, most kids don't. Thankfully, they have some time to think about it. You have 4 years to homeschool in high school, and you can bring this conversation up every year, sometimes multiple times a year. Plan ahead. Once you have an idea of what they'd like to do after high school, then you can start working on a plan. Your teen is going to need a certain number of credits in order to graduate, and you should find out what your state requires in order for them to be able to graduate. Know your state laws, know what's required, but if you know for certain that college is on the horizon, it's a good idea to start researching the colleges that they might be interested in your state or nearby, and find out what specifically they are looking for in a transcript. What kind of schools or majors are they considering? Are they going to need to take higher level mathematics and sciences? And how important are AP classes for what they plan to study? Do they need to take the SATs? All of these things are important to know. Art schools are going to have different requirements than a typical 4-year college, which will have different requirements from an Ivy League school. So knowing what a potential college is looking for, what do they want to see, that can be really helpful in helping you to plan out their high school career. For example, My daughter is currently finishing up her junior year in art school. She is an illustration major and is minoring in animation. Since I knew that she wanted to go to art school from the beginning of her high school career, I started looking at what the local art colleges nearby wanted to see on transcripts. I knew that Robbie was going to need a portfolio, so we were able to sign her up for art classes at our local high school. And in her senior year of high school, she was able to take an AP art portfolio class that helped her to build the portfolio that she ultimately used to apply for college. That class also helped her to earn a scholarship through the Scholastic Art Awards. So since we knew our end goal, we could spend our time in high school focusing on the things that were going to be the most important for her and not waste time on things that wouldn't matter in the long run, like advanced mathematics. Next, prepare your teen. This is when you need to start assessing their weaknesses. Do they need to spend more time focused on writing? Do they need to work harder at catching up on math? Do they need to work on reading comprehension? I consider the middle school years as preparation for high school. So this is when you need to start working on honing the writing skills and getting them ready to tackle the more challenging work that they are going to encounter in high school. If you're about to start high school and you're realizing right now that your teen can't write an essay, don't panic. You have 4 years ahead of you, and it might seem like that's not enough time, but I promise that it is. Middle school is also a great time to start taking online classes and things that they're not used to yet. Because it doesn't count yet, they can practice and get a feel for what another teacher might want from them before they have to do it for a credit. And of course, get organized. I loathe paperwork, but you're going to need to be on top of things when it comes to preparing for transcripts and college applications. And FAFSA. But the good news is that it really isn't that hard. Tedious maybe, but not hard. You've probably been keeping records all along, so you already kind of know what to do. There are several tracking and lesson planning apps and websites and tools that you can use to make your job easier. I used one called My Homeschool Grades. I'm going to link it in the description for you guys, and I love it. It made everything so easy for me to keep track of classes and grading and all of that. And the best part of it is that at the end, when I needed it, I just pushed a button and it produced this beautiful transcript based on all of the things that I'd been putting in all 4 years of high school. So super easy to use, super user-friendly, gorgeous transcripts. Cannot recommend it enough. And finally, have fun and enjoy this journey. This is it. It's the end of the race. You can see the finish line right there ahead on the horizon. I know it's easy to fall into the trap of feeling anxious and worried about the high school years, but I want to remind you that homeschooling teens is also really fun. And I don't want you to get lost in the weeds of planning and transcripts and applications, and then you forget to live in the moment. And this is just a moment. It's going to go by so fast. I love teaching teens because we get to have amazing conversations and read some of my favorite books and share some of our favorite things together. Your teens will transition from being these little kids who need you for everything to being people with their own, often strong opinions. I love getting to see them grow up into people, and if you're lucky, friends. This is the time to make some great memories before they go off into the world on their own for the first time. Remember to find joy in these last years of high school, because it's over in a blink. If you found this video helpful, I hope that you'll check out Build Your Library curriculum. Build Your Library is a secular, literature-rich homeschool curriculum inspired by Charlotte Mason's philosophy of education. Based on nearly 20 years of homeschooling, I created the curriculum I wished I'd had when I first started homeschooling my children. I have spent thousands of hours cultivating the best literature to enhance your children's studies. Our lesson plans make homeschooling simple. Just open them up, gather your books, and go. Our easy-to-use lesson plans include everything you need to homeschool. Just add math. Choose from our full year K through 12 levels, as well as our fun topical unit studies and our newest product, Lit Bites. With Build Your Library, you will cultivate a home library filled with captivating literature, and you will raise children who become lifelong learners. So snuggle up with our lesson plans and a great book or three, and have your best homeschool year ever. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you found this tidbit to be helpful. Be sure to come back next time for more homeschooling inspiration. Until then, happy reading. Bye.